Hi, it's my Aunt Effie, and as you know, this is a channel about the things that I have read recently. Whenever I finish reading a book, I like to do a little review on it. It helps me remember what I've read, and I also do this in the hopes that maybe one of you will have read the book and that maybe we can have a little bit of a conversation about it. Maybe you haven't read the book and maybe this will help you see, I think I'd like to. Or, I don't ever want to read that book. So, I'm so glad you're with me today. And this is the book that I just finished reading not very long ago. It is called Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's by Bradbury. And I have to tell you, I thought that Something Wicked This Way Comes was a phrase that was coined by Stephen King. And it wasn't. How do I know? Well, it's the name of this book, but also I was reading something that Stephen King wrote, and there was a place where he talked about books that had influenced him. And this is one of the books he mentioned. So I went to my local library and they had it, and I read it, and it was great. So, Something Wicked This Way Comes was published in 1962, and it's the story of William Holloway and his best friend, James Nightshade. These two boys are on the cusp of being 14 years old. They live in small town America, and William is a very good student. He has a very bright future ahead of him. His horizon looks bright, but he is extremely loyal and he's easily influenced by his best friend, who seems to be seduced by darkness. So they do a lot of, not a lot, but they do a little bit of sneaking out. The two boys live right next door to each other. Their windows face each other, and each of them can open their window and then shimmy down some kind of a pipe or lattice work on the side of the house and then go running around together at night. They do a little bit of window peeping, which is hinted at, and then I believe gets addressed in another book by Bradbury. This window peeping issue comes up again in another book. But in this book, the two boys do a little window peeping, and it seems like William says, I'm never going back there again. And his best friend, James Nightshade, says, okay, I won't ever ask you to, but you get the feeling that James is going back. Okay, so the two boys are sitting on the grass one day talking to each other, and a man approaches them. They've been watching him go to different houses. He's got a bag and nobody's home. And the man approaches these two boys and asks them questions. And the man warns the boys that there's a terrible storm coming. He even gives the boys a weather vane, something like a lightning rod to put up to keep them safe. And he's like a lightning rod salesman, and nobody's buying them, nobody's home, but he gives one for free. First he asks the boys, you got any money? And they go, well, I got 13 cents. Anyway, he just gives them one. James Nightshade puts it on his house, and after a while, James actually takes that thing down. He goes up on his roof, takes the thing down. Anyway, the terrible storm that's coming turns out not to be something connected to weather. The terrible storm that's coming turns out to be a circus that's coming to town. So the kids hear about the circus that's coming. One night they sneak out and they go to the railroad tracks and they watch the circus come in on a train, and they watch it start to unload and get put up, and they sneak out again at night and they go back to the circus, and the boys get mixed up in some frightening situations. They witness some things that absolutely cannot be. And so things get worse. It's very scary. I end up being very worried about the boys. I know how it is to be young and get in a mess and you don't know how to get out of it. I was engaged the entire time that I was reading the book, and I found it to be very fun. I absolutely loved the ending. One of the themes that I really liked in this book was the idea of knowledge overcoming evil. So William's father works at the local library, and he's not a librarian, he is a janitor. But William's father loves books and he reads books all the time. He still does his cleaning, but he spends a good part of each night reading. So he's quite well read. And even though the boys who are in trouble get to the point that they see things, they think someone's dead, they involve the police. The police come and they take the boys and interview people at the circus, and the police don't believe him. Nobody believes him. The parents don't believe him, but one person believes those boys, and that is William's father. They go to see him at the library, and they pull out books. They figure out a plan. The dad and the boys put together and follow through on a plan, and good overcomes evil. So my conclusion about this book is that Bradbury is a master storyteller. I'll definitely read more books of his. I've read two things by his already. One is The Illustrated Man, and the other, let's see, there's a list of books written by him in the beginning of the book. And it was assigned to us as reading in 7th grade. Let's see. It is, oh, I remember, Fahrenheit 451. Did any of you read Fahrenheit 451? Did any of you read The Illustrated Man? Let me know if you did. I'm hungry to find other people who like to read things that are old, things that are new, things that are obscure, things that are mainstream. I just love to read, and I'm hungry for people to discuss books with me. So I will end the video and say, this is my Aunt Effie saying good reading and goodbye.